Have you ever had this problem? Someone asks you a simple question in English and suddenly your brain just stops. You freeze. You know the words, you know the grammar, but nothing comes out. Then, 30 seconds later, the perfect answer appears in your head. But it's too late. The conversation has moved on. If this sounds familiar, you are not the problem. And your English is probably not the problem either. Today, I am going to show you exactly why you freeze when speaking English and how to stop it using simple, practical techniques you can use immediately in real conversations. Here is the first and most important rule. A pause is not a mistake. You are allowed to add a confident pause before you answer a question. Most learners panic when there is silence, but confident speakers do the opposite. They use silence to think. Watch any interview with a confident speaker. They don't rush, they pause, they think, and then they answer. So the next time someone asks you a question in English, stop treating silence like a problem. Pause for 1 or 2 seconds to give yourself time to find the right words. Don't rush to fill the silence. People don't want a rushed answer. They want a good answer. Now let's talk about the second reason people freeze. They try to build perfect sentences before speaking. This is a huge mistake. Many learners try to think of the full answer in their head before they start speaking. Perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary, perfect structure. But conversations don't wait for perfection. So instead of building perfect sentences in your mind, you need to switch to a simpler system. Start simple, then expand. Let me show you. If someone asks, "What did you do last weekend?" Don't try to build a perfect story in your head. Start with the simplest true sentence you know. For example, "I stayed home." Then add details while speaking. "I stayed home. I watched a movie and relaxed." That's it. Simple first, details second. This is exactly how fluent speakers talk. They don't plan everything. They build the answer in real time. Now here's something that quietly causes a lot of freezing. Self-monitoring. This is when you are speaking, but also judging yourself at the same time. You're thinking, "Was that grammar correct? Did I pronounce that right? Should I have used another word?" The problem is you are no longer in the conversation. You are now inside your head reviewing your performance instead of listening to the other person. And while you are reviewing the past sentence, the present conversation moves on without you. This creates problems. You make a small mistake. You think about the mistake. You stop paying attention. You get confused. Then you become even more nervous. So here's the fix. Stop focusing on performance and focus on communication. Your goal is not to speak perfect English. Your goal is to share an idea. If the message is clear, you are successful. Now let's fix another major cause of freezing: speaking speed. Many learners think fluency means speaking fast, but fluency is not speed. Fluency is flow. And flow actually requires control. When you speak too fast, you reduce your thinking time, you reduce your clarity, and you increase mistakes. Try this simple rule. Slow down just slightly, not dramatically, just enough to give your brain time to think. Even a 10% reduction in speed will make your English sound clearer and more confident immediately. Faster does not mean better. Controlled means better. Now let me give you something very practical that you can use immediately in conversations, called answer starters. One of the biggest reasons people freeze is not because of the whole answer, it's the first sentence. Once you start speaking, it usually becomes easier. So, prepare simple starters that give you time and space to think. For example, "That's a good question. Let me think about that. In my opinion," or "from my experience." These are not fillers. They are bridges. For example, if someone asks, "What's the best place you've ever visited?" Instead of freezing, you can say, "That's a good question. I'd probably say Italy." Now the pressure is gone because you have already started. And starting is the hardest part. Let's address something very important. Many learners treat conversations like exams. But conversations are not tests. Nobody is grading you. Nobody is counting your mistakes. Most people are simply trying to understand you. The moment you turn every conversation into a performance, your pressure increases and your fluency decreases. So change your mindset from "I hope I don't make any mistakes" to "I want to share my ideas." That small shift reduces freezing immediately. Even if you do everything right and you follow the tips in this video, you will still sometimes freeze. That's normal. The difference between confident speakers and nervous speakers is not that confident speakers never freeze, it's that they recover calmly from freezing. So you need recovery phrases. Simple phrases like, "Let me rephrase that. What I'm trying to say is," or "Let me think for a second." These phrases keep you in the conversation instead of panicking and shutting down. So let's put everything together. If you freeze when speaking English, do this. Use a confident pause instead of panic. Start simple instead of perfect. Focus on communication, communicating your idea, instead of performance. Slow down slightly for control, 10%, and use recovery phrases when needed. These are not theories. These are real tools you can use in your next conversation. These are tools I used when I was learning French. And here is the most important thing I want you to remember. Fluent speakers are not people who never freeze. Fluent speakers are people who stay calm when they freeze. So next time someone asks you a question in English, don't rush. Pause, think, answer. Because people don't want the fastest answer. They want the best answer. And you already have more English than you think. You just need to give yourself the space to use it. Don't forget that I have free downloadable materials for you in the description and in the comments. If these tips have helped you, please remember to like, hype, and subscribe. It really helps my work. And if you would like to do some more English with me today, you can join me here. I'll see you there. Take care.